Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not examining a typical hero's journey, not even close.
No, this is something else entirely.
We're analyzing a tactical blueprint of, well, radical self-interest.
And we're focusing on one character, Feng Yuan, a man reborn from his own defeat who uses 500 years of scorched earth memory to manipulate an entire civilization. This is a story where the protagonist starts his journey not as an innocent, but as a seasoned, defeated demon who's just been handed a magical reset button.
Having 500 years of foresight just completely rewrites his destiny from day one.
It's more than just a fantasy story. It's almost a masterclass in how to apply strategic knowledge. Before we can even get into Feng Yuan himself, though, we absolutely have to get a handle on the mechanics of this world.
We have to. It's non-negotiable.
So let's set the stage. We're on a place called King Mao Mountain in Guyu Village. It's a very rigid, clan-based society. And the entire power structure, everything, revolves around these mystical organisms called goo.
Goo. And you can think of goo, which, translates to worm or insect, as living tools.
Living spells, almost.
Exactly. Goo masters cultivate these creatures inside their bodies in a space they call the aperture.
The primeval sea aperture, right?
That's the one. It's basically an internal fuel tank where the goo master refines and stores their primeval essence. And that's the energy they need to actually use the goo.
So the body is like this biological machine that produces power, but it can't sustain itself. It needs fuel, an external fuel source.
Which, in this world, is primeval stones.
Everything comes down to the stone.
Everything.
Yeah.
They're the energy source. They're the currency. They're what you use to get ahead in cultivation. And they all come from one place. The village's spirit spring, which is hidden away deep in this underground cave.
And here's the crucial part, the part that creates all the tension. The clan controls the spring, which means they control the stones, which means they control who gets power and who gets left behind. It's this very tight, closed, hierarchical system. And Feng Yuan understands that from his very first breath in his new life.
So, okay, let's rewind. That final moment of his past life, surrounded, he knows he's done for, but he has this ultimate trump card.
The spring-autumn cicada, the SAC.
And its ability is to travel upstream in the river of time. It basically lets him hit a reset button on his own life.
And the scale of that is just immense. He doesn't just get a do-over. He gets 500 years of perfect high-fidelity memory.
Which is the real cheat code, isn't it?
It really does. We can't just say he knows the future. We have to analyze how that knowledge translates into actual leverage.
So what are the specific categories of information that give him this decisive, actionable edge?
Well, the leverage is multifaceted. First, he knows the precise locations of a multitude of hidden treasures, ancient inheritance sites, precious items, things that are still sealed or undiscovered in this era.
So he knows exactly where the forgotten gold mines are located.
He does. This bypasses centuries of arduous searching that normal cultivators have to endure. That resource bottleneck he faces right now, it's temporary because he knows where all the secret vaults are.
Okay, what's the second part?
Second, he has this detailed, comprehensive grasp of the future veins of history, all the big events, the catastrophic incidents, the political shifts, the critical resource booms. He knows what will shape the world over the next 500 years.
He knows when to invest, when to hide, and crucially, when to strike.
It's less like knowing about a stock market crash and more like knowing about the invention of currency itself.
That's a huge difference.
It is. And third, he knows the identity and potential of countless figures. Powerful predecessors who are currently in seclusion, future geniuses who haven't even been born yet, like his own brother.
So he can cultivate alliances before they're even desirable, or eliminate future threats before they even acquire their power.
Knowing who the heroes and villains of tomorrow are today fundamentally shifts his approach from reactive survival to proactive manipulation.
It lets him look down on the world like it's a game of chess, where he can predict every move 10 steps ahead.
Exactly. This foresight lets him undeniably grasp the overall situation and execute plans with such precision that he can break higher boundaries with minimal risk.
And then comes the first big shock for him post-rebirth. He realizes the spring-autumn cicada actually came back with him. It's dormant, but it's there, inside his new young aperture.
So it's not just a memory, it's a reusable asset.
It is, but here's the catch. Traveling through time critically damaged it. It's incredibly weak, almost dead.
Time reversal came at a catastrophic cost. The SAC almost completely drained all the primeval essence he had and is now exerting this immense constant pressure on his internal foundation.
So despite carrying this legendary artifact, he is physically weaker than he looks.
Much weaker. A simple slip-up, a misstep in the forest, an unexpected run-in with an ordinary mountain boar that could kill him instantly.
That's the immediate existential constraint of his rebirth.
Yeah.
He's got all the knowledge in the world, but the body of a fragile teenager.
Precisely. He's starting from zero physically, but his intellectual and strategic capital is basically infinite. Which is fascinating, right? This clash between this ancient 500-year-old mind and the body he's stuck in.
The core premise here is just so compelling. Our central figure, Feng Yuan, he isn't looking for redemption. He already achieved his quest for immortality, he failed, and he faced the consequences for his cruelty.
And when his past life ended, he looked back at all the carnage, the mercilessness, the enemies he made.
And he just declared he had no regrets.
And that's more than just defiance, It suggests this profound acceptance of the path he chose.
What does that lack of regret really tell us?
Well, it speaks to the depth of his commitment. He didn't fail because he, compromised his morals or had a momentary lapse. He failed because he deliberately chose the way of a demon.
He was merciless.
And ultimately, he became an enemy to the entire world. His demise wasn't an accident. It was the foreseen, accepted consequence of that choice.
The final, devastating payment for the power he acquired.
Exactly. Morality is, for him, completely irrelevant.
Just a human construct.
A construct used to control the weak. For him, only one thing matters: the supreme goal of eternal life. Everything else, kinship, loyalty, honor, it's either a tool or an obstacle.
And he's smart enough to know he can't go after the big stuff yet. He lacks the foundation, the mobility. So what's his immediate driving goal?
Cultivation speed. It's all about speed. He has to cultivate as fast as humanly possible, using the clan's resources for now, and reach rank 3 Go Master level.
Why rank 3 specifically? What's the significance of that rank?
Rank 3 is the foundational rank that grants true self-protection and, crucially, the ability to leave the dangerous, politically constrained King Mao Mountain. He needs to be able to move freely to get to his future non-clan assets.
Okay, let's talk about the environment he's returned to. Goyu Village. This is not some quaint, peaceful setting.
Not at all. We're immediately thrown into the tension surrounding the annual awakening ceremony.
And the atmosphere is
cutthroat. The structure of power, the clan elders who run the family branches, they're described as fighting among themselves to the point of reddened ears and bleeding heads.
And they're not debating policy.
No, they're fighting over who gets to adopt and control the most promising young talents, because talent equals future resources and future political influence. It's a feeding frenzy.
To really understand that fight, we need to quickly map the cultivation hierarchy. It's very rigid.
Very. Gum Masters operate on a 9-tier ranking system, rank 1 up to rank 9, and each of those ranks has 4 stages: initial, middle, upper, and peak.
And advancement is slow, incredibly expensive.
Painfully slow, and it absolutely requires constant access to primeval stones. Cultivation, battles, refining goo, trading, all of it is impossible without primeval stones. They're the universal fuel. But the power gap between ranks is enforced by the quality of the essence produced.
So a rank 1 master produces green copper primeval essence.
A rank 2 master gets red iron primeval essence, and then a rank 3 master moves into white silver primeval essence.
And this is where the system becomes exponentially unfair. The sources say these essences aren't just slightly better. The increase in quality creates a massive inherent power disparity.
Oh, it's an astronomical difference. It guarantees the dominance of the higher ranks. The sources give a direct, almost alarming comparison. One single portion of rank 2 red iron essence is equivalent in power to 10 portions of the rank 1 green copper essence.
10 to 1.
10 to 1. So a rank 2 master starts with a 10 to 1 advantage in sheer potency over a rank 1 master before you even factor in skill or gumworms.
But once you reach a higher rank, you are inherently safer, richer, and exponentially more powerful.
And that imbalance makes the concept of financial stability, or the lack of it, the true bottleneck. It brings us to the hidden truth of being a gum master, the constant grinding financial strain.
The sources really strip away the illusion of glory here.
They do.
Yeah.
For lower rank gum masters, life is constantly strained by money. The higher the rank, the more complex their gumworms, and the costs just skyrocket. We get a tangible figure. A normal common rank 2 gum needs 1 to 2 primeval stones every single day just for maintenance.
1 or 2 stones a day. What's the opportunity cost of that? What else could that buy in the village?
Well, that's the core analytical point. For an average lower-rank Gu master, one primeval stone might represent hours of difficult, dangerous labor, or a significant amount of food for a mortal family.
So if you're a rank 1 master with slow essence recovery, spending 2 stones a day on a Go worm means you're constantly running at a deficit.
You're dedicating all your time and recovered essence just to keeping your power functional. You have zero funds left over for anything else: Gu refinement materials, healing salves, even minor luxuries.
We see this resentment vividly in the behavior of the young Gu master Jianya.
Exactly. Jianya, a cultivator, gets openly, intensely angry just because he sees ordinary, uncultivated hunters drinking green bamboo wine.
A minor luxury he can't afford.
He, who's supposedly on a higher plane of existence, can't afford this while these mortals can. It shows that the spiritual hierarchy just crumbles under the weight of pure, brutal economics.
So the inescapable conclusion is that without continuous, massive financial backing, whether it's inheritance, clan sponsorship, or in Feng Yuan's case, extreme foresight,
the path to cultivation isn't just difficult. It is fundamentally unsustainable for the majority of practitioners. It's an economic death trap disguised as a spiritual journey.
And Feng Yuan, having lived through this financial gauntlet once, knows that the first stage of his plan has to be absolute financial security. He has to bypass the reliance on the clan structure that doomed all his peers. So the primary determinant of your destiny isn't hard work or wisdom, it's your initial talent grade, revealed at that ceremony, A, B, C, or D.
How deep does that difference go?
It's everything. It's all about, well, metabolic efficiency. A-grade talent means your aperture, your cultivation center. It naturally recovers primeval essence at an exceptional rate. It gives you the potential to reach rank 5.
And on the other end?
D-grade means your recovery rate is so abysmal you'll struggle fiercely just to pass rank 2. Feng Yuan understands this. He knows the system is designed to keep the weak perpetually weak and the strong perpetually strong.
And before he even gets to the ceremony, he has to deal with his immediate domestic situation. We meet his twin, Feng Zheng. Yeah, Feng Zheng looks up to his colder, older brother, but, he sees himself as this naive shadow.
The contrast is stark. Feng Zheng is driven by emotion and a desire for connection,
while Feng Yuan is purely logical and strategic.
So we arrive at the awakening ceremony. The hopes of the entire plan are pinned on this moment.
And the atmosphere. The ceremony itself is steeped in tradition. It's described as grand, deeply solemn. You have the kowtowing, the prayer, emphasizing the sacred link to the ancestral bloodline.
But the moment the solemnity is over,
the atmosphere shifts instantly to cutthroat political maneuvering. The clan elders immediately erupt into these intense arguments, fiercely competing to secure stewardship over the most promising young geniuses.
They're fighting over future assets and political leverage.
That's all it is. And the sole metric for these assets is the talent grade, which basically sets the boundaries of their life's potential. And what's intriguing is the hidden mechanic of the assessment.
The little lights that enter their body.
Right. They're revealed to be creatures known as Hope Gu.
Let's pause on the Hope Gu. Why that name, and what's their role in this system?
The name is deeply ironic. They're called Hope Gu because they symbolize the clan's hopes and future. Their interaction with the candidate's natural aperture determines the grade.
So they're a measuring tool.
Essentially, yes. The Hope Gu are specialized Gu worms that reflect the inherent capacity of an individual's physical structure to absorb, retain, and recover primeval essence. A high grade means the structure is incredibly efficient. Faster recovery, lower waste. A C grade, like Feng Yuan, means the structure is leaky and slow.
So it demands exponentially more effort to get the same result.
Exactly. The Hope Gu don't grant talent. They measure the inborn ceiling of the individual.
Which makes the result of this particular batch even more consequential, especially with the deceit involved.
Oh, the results were highly volatile. Guyu Mobe registered as a B grade, a respectable result. Then came Guyu Chi-Chen, who also registered a B grade. This immediately delighted his grandfather, Qilian.
But Feng Yuan's foresight gives us the inside scoop.
It does. We know Chi-Chen was actually only C grade, and his grandfather had successfully helped him fake the results to boost his family's prestige and secure better resources.
So even at this fundamental level of talent assessment, the system is rigged by those with wealth and influence.
It's corruption baked right into the structure.
Then Feng Yuan steps up. The result, C-grade talent. a massive, bitter disappointment to everyone who expected a genius.
And a source of immediate mockery and jealousy from his peers. They love it.
And then the final, shocking result of the day.
His twin brother, Feng Zhang, awakens with A-grade talent. The first A-grade genius in 3 years for the Guyu clan.
Overnight, Feng Zheng is catapulted from a naive, shadowed youth into the centerpiece of the clan's hopes. A literal political prize.
And the elders instantly start arguing, their arguments escalating into full-blown rows over who gets to adopt and control the prodigy. It's chaos.
Which introduces the central personal dynamic. The stark contrast between Fang Yuan and Feng Zhang. The ultimate genius versus the cynical discard.
It's night and day. Fang Yuan is assessed as C-grade, marking him immediately as ordinary and economically demanding. His past life experience makes him come off as cold, indifferent, so he's undesirable.
But Feng Zheng, the A-grade genius, is instantly coveted.
Rival family heads like Qi Lian and Mo Chen, they immediately descend, fighting over who will adopt him and guide his rise, promising him resources.
And their personalities are as divergent as their talents.
Completely. Feng Zhang is described as naive, easily influenced, tragically eager to please. He desperately wants external approval, specifically wanting to be #1 to make his aunt and uncle proud.
Whereas Feng Yuan seeks no approval and understands that rank and glory are just tactical tools.
And this brings us to the first active threat in Feng Yuan's second life, his aunt and uncle. This is low-stakes political maneuvering compared to world domination, but for him, it's an immediate threat to his inheritance. Feng Yuan's parents left a substantial fortune, far more than the minimal student stipend, which he is set to inherit at age 16. The aunt and uncle's whole scheme was to expel him from the family before that age and claim the inheritance for themselves.
And their chosen weapon was classic emotional manipulation using the servant, Shen-Kui.
A classic entrapment. The plan was to frame him for assault. In his previous naive life, Feng Yuan was fooled by her seduction attempt and he suffered the consequences.
But not this time.
Now, with 500 years of hindsight, he sees through the entire cheap trick instantly, and his reaction is purely detached, chillingly pragmatic. He classifies them, his aunt, uncle, the clan elders, as mere passers-by in life.
They're irrelevant unless they actively physically block his path to immortality.
And if they do, they become weeds to be swiftly uprooted. He calculates that spending emotional energy on them is a total waste. He only cares about maximizing his resources and minimizing his exposure. And Shen-Kui attempts her seduction, still operating under the assumption that a C-grade talent is desperate for any social elevation he can get.
Feng Yuan sees through her immediately. But instead of, a brutal, messy murder or some big confrontation, he executes a move of just staggering cruelty and efficiency.
He coldly exposes her manipulative intent, and then gives her away. Not just dismisses her, but specifically gifts her to Feng Zhang.
You mentioned it was psychological warfare. How does giving her to his twin serve his strategic goals?
It's brilliant, ruthless resource management. First, he eliminates the source of the framing plot without resorting to murder, which would draw immediate clan attention. That's key.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, he reinforces his own cold image. The twin sees Feng Yuan acting callously, inhumanly. Third, and this is the most important part, it poisons Feng Zhang's emotional life.
How so?
Feng Zhang is desperate for kinship and affection. He accepts this gift, believing he's saving her, and unknowingly takes in a compromised, manipulative person whose entire allegiance was to the aunt and uncle.
He's giving his rival a Trojan horse, disguised as an act of, calculated detachment. The emotional rift between the twins, which was already growing because of the A-grade status, is now solidified.
Immediately. He has secured his internal resources, and he's eliminated the domestic threat.
Okay, let's stop right there. This is a huge pivot point. Feng Yuan's C-grade is initially framed as a disaster, yet you argue it's a crucial strategic asset. Why? Why is C-grade better than A-grade for someone with his goals?
It comes down to control and resources, but mostly control. An A-grade talent like Feng Zhang is instantly seen as this finite, priceless resource.
So he's immediately shackled by the clan's protective embrace.
Exactly. He gets all the resources, yes, but those resources come with handlers, the Qi and Mo factions, who will dictate his every move, his cultivation focus, even his personal life. He becomes a puppet serving the clan's political structure.
So massive attention equals massive political constraint.
Precisely. Feng Yuan with his C-grade is immediately dismissed. The clan views him as a discarded pawn, a youth whose potential ceiling is just too low to bother fighting over.
They expect his future growth to be slow and predictable.
which grants him the immense safety of obscurity. It allows him to operate in the shadows, stockpiling secret non-clan resources without anyone monitoring his progress or demanding his loyalty. The C grade is his invisible shield against lethal political pressure.
That makes perfect sense. While Fang Zheng absorbs all the attention and becomes the focus of the clan's internal fighting, Feng Yuan is free to execute his real plan.
And the first step of that plan, leveraging his foresight, is finding the hidden cave of the rank 5 demonic flower wine monk.
This inheritance is legendary, but extremely dangerous.
Extremely. The monk died after a fierce battle with the 4th clan head centuries ago, and he set up a series of lethal tests. Feng Yuan knows the location, which is half the battle right there.
And what does he find that immediately kickstarts his cultivation leap?
The liquor worm. Now, we need to get a little technical here. The liquor worm was originally a rank 5 gum, but it degraded all the way down to rank 1 due to centuries of starvation.
And Feng Yuan refines it immediately. What's the strategic value of this particular worm?
It allows him to refine his common green copper primeval essence, which is what a rank 1 initial stage master generates, into a higher quality essence.
So he's essentially bypassing his low-grade metabolic efficiency problem. He's cheating the system his C-grade talent stuck him with.
He is. The change is visible and tangible. The essence generated by a C-grade talent is usually this murky, low-purity green copper color. The liquor worm lets him refine it into a higher purity, more concentrated red copper essence.
And that boost,
It drastically accelerates his cultivation speed. It makes him temporarily more efficient than even the B grades, because his refined essence holds more power and is easier for his goo worms to absorb.
this is a true cornerstone acquisition.
Yeah.
So with his spiritual foundation secured,
Now he faces the real-world problem, primeval stone procurement.
right, because his new liquor worm and his need for fast cultivation mean his daily expenditure is already astronomical.
It is. And this leads him to the strategy of outright extortion and violence.
He uses his 500 years of combat experience to just dominate his peers in basic martial arts training, despite only being rank 1 initial stage. How does that experience manifest physically against a bunch of teenagers?
It's all about precision and anticipation. These young masters are relying on brute strength and basic academy moves. Feng Yuan knows every muscle, every weakness, every countermove.
He's pulling from a massive library of practical combat wisdom.
A library built over 500 years of life and death struggles. His movements are sharp, efficient, and lethal. He operates on an instinct that took centuries to develop.
And the visible public policy of this tyranny is the extortion. Standing at the academy gates and demanding 1 primeval stone from every classmate, including the privileged B grades like Mo Bei and Ji Chen. This seems incredibly risky for someone trying to maintain a low profile. Why choose such an open, confrontational method?
It's a calculated risk with maximum political return. He needed 5 primeval stones daily, and this was the most efficient way to get them quickly without having to do dangerous missions in the wild. But the core strategy here lies in understanding the clan's political tolerance.
Explain that. Why doesn't the Academy Elder just shut this down immediately?
The Elder interprets Feng Yuan's actions not as a threat to the clan structure, but as a predictable, childish rebellion born of disappointment.
So they see him as a frustrated C-grade talent, just lashing out because he can't compete through talent alone.
Exactly. It's seen as a controllable, manageable frustration. The Elder even sets an unwritten boundary. Extorting 1 stone is acceptable petulance. Demanding 2 would be an actual political incident.
By staying within the prestige acceptable limits of youthful indiscretion, Feng Yuan keeps the clan leader believing he's just immature and rash.
So by being openly criminal in a minor way, he reinforces the clan's perception that he's politically insignificant and predictable. It is a masterful mask.
It is, but that mask is tested almost immediately by the murder of Gao Wan.
Right. Feng Yuan is cornered by this muscular servant from the Mo family, sent to intimidate him after he beat up the younger Mo Bei.
The murder of a mortal servant by a Gu master seems like an extreme step for an initial intimidation move. He risked outright expulsion or even death for this. Why the extreme, brutal show of force?
He recognized a critical moment. He knew he couldn't defeat Gao Wan in a fair physical fight at that point. Gao Wan was at the peak of mortal prowess, and Feng Yuan had no defensive Gu.
And allowing himself to be beaten or humiliated would shatter the fear he had just cultivated.
It would ruin everything. So he chose the path of undeniable, lethal resolve.
He snatches a saber from a guard and beheads Gao Wan in front of witnesses. Instead of just burying the body, Feng Yuan dismembers it. and he sends the gruesome pieces to the granddaughter of a rival family's elder.
Wait, say that again? He didn't just kill the guy.
No.
He mutilated the corpse and used it to send a targeted political message to a rival faction. That level of coldness from a teenager it's unbelievable.
It is.
Yeah.
And the clan elder's reaction confirms it. They noted that this wasn't just a kid who got lucky in a fight. This showed meticulous and experienced scheming.
Unbelievable for a 15-year-old. It's cold and entirely calculated. It achieves two things. One, he demonstrates that his threats are backed by lethal force, cementing the fear and preventing future petty bullying. And two, the victim was a mortal servant.
So the political fallout is surprisingly minimal.
Surprisingly, yes. The Mo family elder, Mo Chen, is furious at the insult, but ultimately he views Gao Wan as merely a dog. He would never risk a major political conflict with the clan leader over the death of a common servant.
So this incident just reinforces Fang Yuan's philosophical core that a person's death is no different from a pig's.
And the lack of severe punishment confirms that his survival instinct, to be terrifying and ruthless, is actually supported by the clan's implicit hierarchy that values Gyu masters infinitely above mortals.
He's already operating with this surgical, strategic cruelty that frankly terrifies the people who are supposed to be in charge of him.
And his resource strategy changes too. He moves from secret gathering to just outright extortion.
He leverages that hidden combat wisdom. He starts challenging his classmates like Mo Bei and Qi Chang to one-on-one fights for their primeval stones.
And he just wipes the floor with them, right?
Easily. Using superior tactics, timing, anticipation, it's a highly profitable business. But what's really strategic is how he does it. He's taking their wealth, but he's staying just inside the clan's unwritten rules about rivalry.
The Academy Elder is watching all of this very closely, and he notices Fang Yuan's control.
Right. He's deliberately aiming his strikes to injure or knock out, but never to kill or cause permanent damage.
Because he knows exactly where the line is. Crossing that line would bring punishment, and that would slow him down.
So he's exposing the hypocrisy of the system. These higher-grade talents have all the resources, but they're useless in a real fight compared to his experience. The Elder dismisses his C-grade talent, but has to acknowledge his terrifying fighting skill.
So he builds this reputation as a violent but very calculated fighter who respects the rules just enough not to get kicked out of the game.
So as we get into the more institutional conflicts, we see Fang Yuan making these really calculated moves. The clan uses events like the mid-year exam or electing a class monitor to redistribute resources and sort of absorb the talented kids into the system.
To make them pawn managers.
Exactly. And Fang Yuan wants no part of that. He completely rejects the idea of being a pawn, so he strategically refuses the position of class monitor.
He knows it comes with strings attached, right?
Yeah.
Reporting duties, managing resources. It would just tie him down and expose his activities.
He chooses freedom and secrecy over a tiny bit of status. Meanwhile, Mo Bei, who doesn't see the trap, happily takes the job.
Which is a great early contrast, isn't it? The demonic path versus the righteous path. One is about freedom, the other is about tying yourself to the system.
And just as he stabilizes his internal power, an external threat arrives.
Jiafu, the wealthy merchant caravan leader, investigating the disappearance of his brother, Jia Jinsheng, who had tried to buy information from Fang Yuan.
And Jiafu isn't just any merchant. He's wealthy, he's influential, and he's putting immense pressure on the Guyu clan. He corners Fang Yuan in the clan hall, demanding answers.
This is a life or death moment. An outright admission of murder would mean immediate execution for Fang Yuan. His foresight now has to translate into the perfect lie.
And he constructs this flawless half-truth about the infamous image wall treasure map.
He does.
What was the critical component of the lie that saved him?
He admitted that Jia Jinsheng was looking for the treasure, but he claimed that he, Fang Yuan, refused to sell the information. He suggested Jia Jinsheng walked away furiously, insulting the Guyu clan as no big deal.
But the real genius was the deflection.
Yes. Fang Yuan subtly exposed the pre-existing deep-seated conflict between Jiafu and his missing brother.
He used the family politics of the outsider against him.
Exactly. The Guyu elders were watching. They were already looking for a politically safe narrative, blaming the outsider for leaving angrily or suggesting he fell victim to the dangerous wilderness because he was foolishly insulted.
Was infinitely better than admitting a clansman was involved in a murder.
Infinitely. Fang Yuan's perfect lie, delivered with calm assurance, played right into the clan's need for political self-preservation. He survives a fatal accusation, confirming, once again, the priceless value of his 500 years of knowledge.
So, having cleared that external threat, Fang Yuan immediately returns to cultivation.
Right back to it. He reaches rank 1 middle stage by leveraging the efficiency of the liquor worm and his steady stream of primeval stones from the extortion. Now he can finally face the flower wine monk's inheritance tests.
The first barrier is a colossal, giant boulder blocking the path.
And Fang Yuan, unlike a naive youth who might try to brute force it or just give up, knows immediately what this test requires.
The strength-enhancing goo.
A strength-enhancing goo. This is a perfect demonstration of foresight, translating directly into efficiency. He knows what he needs and, more importantly, where to get the resources to acquire it.
He uses the Earth Treasury flower goo and auxiliary goo from the inheritance to dig out more resources hidden nearby.
Which leads to 2 critical acquisitions that really define his physical capability in this arc.
The first is the white boar goo, the strength-enhancing goo he needed. And the second,
the jade skin goo, a foundational defense goo. Both are low rank, but absolutely essential.
the white boar goo grants him the brute physical strength for the test, but it immediately introduces a huge new problem.
A logistical problem. It has to be fed immense amounts of pork every 5 days. This dramatically increases his need for primeval stones, because getting that much meat requires either dangerous hunting or very expensive purchasing.
So the solution to one problem immediately intensifies his resource constraint.
And this necessity drives his daily expenditure through the roof, creating yet another intense resource bottleneck. He's now juggling 4 demanding goo worms. His moonlight goo, the liquor worm, the little light goo, and now the white boar goo.
And the cost?
His daily expenditure, combining feeding the 4 goo and his C-grade cultivation needs, jumps to about 5 primeval stones a day. He realizes this is totally unsustainable without tapping into a massive hidden resource. The flower wine monk inheritance is now absolutely essential for survival.
And to feed the white boar goo, he has to hunt regularly, which brings him into dangerous contact with the local human population. This necessity leads to the horrifying act of the Wang family murder.
Yes, we need to analyze this incident, not just as a plot point, but as a chilling demonstration of his philosophy in action. The white boar goo requires a staggering amount of food. The pork equivalent of 1 fully grown wild pig every 5 days.
Which forces him into the wild periphery of King Mao Mountain.
The territory of the Wang family, local hunters who have invaluable knowledge of the terrain. Fang Yuan needs access, and he needs secrecy. And his chosen method is total extermination rather than negotiation.
Why? What's the strategic calculation behind killing an entire family?
Negotiation means exposure, potential witnesses, the ongoing risk of future blackmail or emotional attachment. All things Fang Yuan cannot afford. His process is ruthless efficiency. He first hits the son, Wang killing him instantly with the moonblade.
Then he uses that trauma to compel the father, Old Man Wang, to draw a beast skin map.
A crucial item detailing terrain, hidden traps, beast territories, an invaluable tactical resource. But having acquired the resource, he then eliminates the father and the daughter.
Why not just threaten them into silence?
Because threats are ephemeral. Death is permanent. He views all witnesses, regardless of their current emotional state, as future threats. He murders both of them to ensure 0 political fallout and 0 chance of revenge or exposure. He sees the act as no different than cutting down weeds at the root.
Knowing that if he leaves the seeds, even the grieving father, they'll inevitably return to seek revenge.
Right. And his internal monologue is chillingly revealing. A person's death is no different from a pig's. The calculation is pure utility. The family provided a resource, the map, and once they served their purpose, their continued existence represented a strategic risk that outweighed their value.
And the murder secures him a stable, local meat supply, and crucially, that indispensable beast skin map for navigating the dangerous mountain periphery without relying on anyone else. Fang Yuan's success really relies on navigating the overt and hidden rules of the clan. He reflects on this using the widespread legend of Renzu and the rules and regulation go. What's his grand conclusion about these social structures?
He concludes that all organized structures, clans, governments, armies, are fundamentally designed to create and enforce rules based on strict hierarchy. This is necessary for order, but it forces the people within the structure to act like pawns.
Obediently following prescribed, predictable paths.
Exactly. He believes that true knowledge of these systems only comes after suffering through them, like the legendary Renzu had to. And he asserts that his 5 centuries of experience outweigh any physical resource, even the SIC itself.
Because that experience grants him comprehensive mastery over these rules.
He claims his experience allows him to look down on the world, see through its lies, and exploit the deep flaws in the system. He knows that rules are dead, but people are alive, and relationships are deep. This is why he can move around the static rules with minimal effort. He doesn't adhere to the rules. He dictates his compliance to achieve maximum strategic gain. And we see him executing this perfectly by making 2 calculated public moves that reinforce the clan leader's mistaken assessment of him.
First, he publicly rejects the offer of the class chairman position,
Which grants both glory and a formal entrance into the system's hierarchy. He just dismisses it as illusionary glory. To the clan leader, this looks like foolish impatience.
And second, he openly attributes getting the valuable liquor worm to sheer luck.
By appearing to waste opportunities and resources, he convinces the clan leadership that he's an uncontrollable, yet ultimately minor threat.
Let's analyze the clan leader's specific misjudgment. Good Yubo. What was he looking for, and why did Fang Yuan's rashness convince him he was safe?
Well, Go Yubo, the rank 3 clan leader, he's looking for signs of true, deep-seated strategic ambition, what he calls true wisdom. He concludes Fang Yuan is childish because Fang Yuan acts rashly and publicly.
Right.
Go Yubo states that if Fang Yuan had silently risen to the middle stage or accepted the chairman position without displeasure and then used it, that would have been the sign of a deep schemer.
But because Fang Yuan is loud, defiant, and rejects obvious honors.
The clan leader views him as just a volatile pawn that will self-destruct. He's safe because he is so deeply underestimated.
So his aggressive public behavior ensures he's treated as a high-maintenance discard rather than a strategic rival, which buys him the time and secrecy to cultivate his rank 5 inheritance. He gets the brute strength to push aside that giant boulder.
And gains true access to the core of the rank 5 demonic inheritance ground.
He's physically overcome the constraint of his youth and politically secured his secret resources.
But safety, as we've seen, is always elusive. Immediately after this breakthrough, the consequences of his past actions manifest again during the mid-year wilderness hunting exam.
This is where the vengeance-seeking demonic goo master Wang Da appears.
This man is seeking revenge because Fang Yuan killed his mortal family, his kin. This is the karmic blowback from the Gao Wan murder incident, confirmed to be the wider family of that servant.
It's the first major unpredictable element Fang Yuan faces. It shows that even foresight can't stop the ripple effect of his own violence.
Oh, absolutely. Wang Da has been monitoring the village for 3 years, but he's relying on outdated information and, crucially, he mistakes the twins' similar appearance, so he attacks the wrong brother.
He attacks Fang Zhang.
He attacks Fang Zhang, the ultimate irony. The clan darling is attacked because of the hatred Fang Yuan generated.
Wang Da is neutralized by the protecting clan goo masters.
Right.
But Fang Zhang is injured.
And this incident just heightens the political tension. It forces the clan to publicly shore up Fang Zhang's defenses. Fang Zhang is seen publicly displaying the Jade Skin Goo, a new defensive goo.
Which was undoubtedly a gift from the clan leader's faction to protect their A-grade prodigy against future threats.
It confirms the escalating resource war among the factions. They are pouring assets into Fang Zhang.
For Fang Yuan, the resolution is perfect. But Fang Yuan just wins it, easily.
He doesn't spend days out there risking his neck, does he?
No. He simply finds a cache of boar tusks that he'd secretly stored beforehand.
Tusks he'd already collected from his own private hunting trips, probably using his new white boar goo to boost his strength. So all of this, the resource struggles, the murders, the political maneuvering, it all leads up to the year-end tournament.
This is the stage for the climax of this whole initial arc. It's a clash of raw, A-grade talent versus cold, ancient experience.
The final match. C-grade Fang Yuan versus his genius younger brother, A-grade Fang Zhang.
And we have to look at their toolkits here, because on paper, it's not a fair fight. Fang Zhang is the clan's darling. They've poured resources into him. He's got multiple defensive goo, like bronze skin and jade skin goo, plus the standard moonlight goo.
He has the superior essence. He should be unstoppable.
Meanwhile, Fang Yuan has his secret liquor worm engine, the jade skin goo he got from the inheritance, and an auxiliary little light goo to boost his attacks. On paper, Fang Zhang should just overwhelm him.
And Fang Zhang is furious, right? He's desperate to get his honor back after that public slap. He just rushes Fang Yuan.
He's relying on his stronger defenses and deeper energy reserves. He thinks this is his chance to finally put his older brother in his place.
But Fang Yuan's advantage in close combat is just, it's overwhelming.
That 500 years of battle experience, it's not theory. It's pure instinct. He can flawlessly read every single micromotion his brother makes.
The shift of a shoulder, the twitch of a wrist.
He sees Fang Zhang not as an opponent, but as a clear stream. Every thought, every move is totally transparent and predictable to him.
He knows exactly where to strike for maximum effect, not just physical, but psychological.
And he's timing his own essence output perfectly, using the liquor worm's purity to make his rank 1 attacks hit with the force of a much higher level master.
And the fight ends with this single, decisive, and really heartbreaking blow.
He targets the one weak point in Fang Zhang's defense. He uses his superior timing to strike his brother's wrist, right on the palm.
Exactly where Fang Zhang was hiding his vital moonlight go.
He doesn't need to break through the armor. He just needs to damage the source of his brother's power. He critically injures the goo and nearly puts a hole through Fang Zhang's hand.
And Fang Zhang, the A-grade genius, is just utterly broken, physically and mentally defeated by his lesser brother.
The observers are stunned. They can't understand how the C-grade beat the A-grade, so they rationalize it.
They decide he must be one of those rare strength-type monsters, like a famous clan elder who makes up for bad talent with just sheer brute force.
And that misinterpretation is exactly what Fang Yuan wanted. He fooled them. He made them think his advantage was physical, not strategic. They completely missed the liquor worm, the jade skin go, and especially the 500 years of foresight.
And the clan leader, Gu Yubo, makes the biggest mistake of all.
He observes Fang Yuan's coldness. He even figures out that the liquor worm is his secret, but he dismisses him. He sees him as just a rash, childish, but intelligent kid who's clinging to minor secrets.
He thinks Fang Yuan will eventually have to submit to the clan system because a C-grade talent needs the clan's resources to advance.
He completely misses the true depth of Fang Yuan's cold wisdom. He doesn't see a demonic cultivator in the making. He sees a pawn who needs to be guided back onto the board.
So as the dust settles on King Mao Mountain, the initial battlefield is clear, but the war is really just beginning. Fang Yuan's path is now confirmed.
He's established himself as this successful anomaly, a ruthless, ambitious player operating completely outside the normal power structure.
And he's proven his own worldview, right? That things like kinship, friendship, love, they're just tools for manipulation. Or shackles you need to break.
His cold calculation is in such stark contrast to his brother's hot-blooded loyalty. And now he can move forward and continue secretly pursuing the deeper parts of that flower wine monk's inheritance.
And on the other side, Fang Zhang is just fundamentally changed by this. The A-grade genius, humiliated twice in public by his brother.
That trauma creates this powerful, vengeful motivation. He's not a spoiled genius anymore. He's a driven rival, and his one goal is to defeat Fang Yuan fair and square.
And he's going to rise fast under the clan leader's guidance, which makes him a much more dangerous future threat.
Right. And the wider environment has new threats too. Jiafu, the merchant, is still out there, still looking for answers about his missing brother. That external pressure hasn't gone away.
And internally, Fang Yuan has to be so careful with his new wealth. Any sudden, unexplained jump in his cultivation speed would expose the liquor worm's power to the elders, and that would bring a lot of unwanted attention.
And the demonic inheritance itself is an escalating danger. They're not like the clan's safe, structured paths. They're often filled with deadly traps designed to kill anyone who isn't worthy.
So even with his foresight, he has to move carefully.
His immediate goal is very practical. He needs to push to rank 2 middle stage as quickly as possible. Use his current assets, the liquor worm, jade skin goon, whiteboard goo to get strong enough to bypass the next set of threats and hit rank 3.
Because once he hits rank 3 with its white-silver essence, he knows he finally has the power to leave King Mao Mountain and enter the wider world.
And the key takeaway from all of this, for us, is what Fang Yuan believes his greatest asset to be. It's not the time-traveling goo, it's not a treasure map.
It's the 500 years of experience.
It's his mastery of the world's deep, hidden rules and regulations. He moves with this incredible patience and caution because he understands that survival and the relentless pursuit of your goal, that's the highest form of courage.
He's playing the long game. Every conflict isn't an obstacle. It's a resource-generating opportunity. So we've seen how one man, armed with 5 centuries of painful lessons, can just re-enter this rigid system built on talent and hierarchy and immediately bend it to his will.
Using calculation and coldness as his primary weapons, he's like the ultimate dark efficiency expert.
We saw the brutal reality of resource competition and how his foreknowledge just turns clan politics into a predictable game of chess.
He's not just powerful, he's strategically inevitable, as long as he can avoid the fatal traps.
And the clan leader, Gu Yubo, he dismissed Fang Yuan, saw him as a childish C-grade talent who would eventually fall in line. But when you look at the trail he's left, killing a servant, sending a dissected corpse as a political threat, publicly destroying his A-grade genius brother, you have to ask the final provocative question. At what point does the system finally realize its pawn is actually a monster who has mastered their own rulebook?
And what price will the clan leader and all of King Mao Mountain pay for underestimating the cold, strategic cruelty of 500 years of experience? Thank you for joining us for the deep dive. We look forward to exploring the escalating stakes of power, cultivation, and calculated evil with you next time.